Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about day 4 in my logo design process of a project I'm currently working on. And over the last couple of videos, I've talked about some of the earlier steps I took in my design process. And in this video, I'm going to be jumping into phase 3 of my design process. Now, phase 3 is visual artwork and design. Now, up until this point, I've been learning all about the project, getting clued up on everything I need to know about the company that I'm designing for. For those who may be new to this video, I'm currently designing a logo identity for a private training company based in the UK. And it's my task to create a new fresh brand for them. And up to this point, I've been doing all the research and discovery and brainstorming, and I've done my visual design, where in the previous video I showed you all my drawings and sketches and the ideas that I've generated for this project. So today it got really exciting, where I jumped onto the computer and started to bring some of my ideas to life. And today I worked on step 1, 2 and 3 of my phase 3, which was to initially convert my sketch designs into vector artwork. And then I considered typography, because there's a bit of a typography element to this logo design. And then what I did is I finalized logo compositions. So let's take a quick look at what I did today. So in the previous video, I discussed some of the design routes that I came up with in my sketch process. Now, I actually identified I think it was 4 routes that I really liked, but what I decided on, because of the time and budget of this particular project, I don't have that much time to explore all of them. So what I'm going to do here is I chose the idea which I thought was the strongest and I thought would work the best, and I've gone for that. So what I have here is one of the concepts which I developed based off all of my discovery and research I did in the previous steps. Now, I won't go into that in too much detail here. I cover all that in the previous videos. If you want to learn more about that, I suggest you go check out those videos. But what you see here is one of the scamp ideas that I really liked. This logo design is for a company that does private training, and one of the concept that this is all about is building and building spaces. And I wanted to create a logo design based on shapes that sort of come together. And I like this one because it feels a little bit architectural, like a blueprint, which is obviously people are the architects of their futures when they undertake new courses and training courses. So I liked this one, and I thought this one had that nice dynamic, and I really wanted to see how this would come together dynamically. So that's the one I wanted to go with, and this is the initial step of the visual artwork and design step that I took to convert my sketch designs into vector artwork. So here you can see my workings in Adobe Illustrator. So what I started here was just taking the sketch and just trying to convert it and see what that would look like as a vector graphic. So I originally created a quick grid and used shapes to construct the logo. And then once I constructed it, I wanted to see what it would look like as a silhouette. And then naturally, I wanted to just develop it further and see how it would look in various treatments. So I was looking at how maybe the shapes could be solid and there would be strokes through it. And then I moved on to then thinking about how the shapes and how they overlap could, work differently, have different colors, different tones. But I was starting to think that this was maybe a bit too complex. So then I moved on and thought, how would I simplify this? Reducing the amount of shapes and the complexity of the overlaps. And then I just moved on again, trying to simplify it and looking at how I could use a series of strokes instead of blocks. And then I thought maybe mix it up, have a series of strokes and blocks. And I was beginning to like this, but I thought, again, this might be a little bit too complicated. So then I moved on a little bit further. And at this point, I was thinking that the T in the RTS might be a little bit too complex. So I thought maybe just simplify that a little bit to a more simple shape.
And then I started to think this was working quite nice. I thought simplifying this was definitely the right direction. And I actually quite liked the mixture of the strokes and solid shapes. I thought this was quite interesting and a bit more bespoke and alternative, and could be a really good approach for this logo. So then I continued to develop it further and just trying to simplify it. And in this instance, I thought, okay, let's reduce the colors. So instead of having multiple tones, I thought maybe it would be just easier if it was two tones. Maybe the strokes would be dark and the blocks would be slightly lighter. This could be a nice dynamic where there's just two colors in it. And here I was thinking that at this point I kind of liked how the logo was working as a stroke and with solid shapes. So at this early stage I'm thinking, okay, it would be cool to explore this and see that. So once I'd settled on a direction, I then like to then quickly see how they look in black and white. So down here I looked at how the logo potentially look as white on black and then black on white. So now I can really see how the logo in principle is working. So I have this nice stroke effect with the more refined, simplified T. So now I have my three sort of variants here. I have my stroke and shapes, I have my stroked version, and I have a stroked version which has got a gradient through it. So this was my initial phase, this was my initial start.
So as you can see, there is a very visual element to this logo design. The name of the company is Riverside Training Spalding, and their previous logo incorporated a combination mark where they had like a logo mark element and a word mark. Now, for this, I thought they could be a bit more impactful, and I thought that it would be really good to just simplify the logo slightly and bring it together, as you've seen in my design there, and create a letter mark. So I wanted the RTS to be very bold and striking, but you know, that is a logo that could work by itself, RTS, but there will be occasions where they would need more formal compositions, so there would need to be a type element to go with that. If there is a type element in my logo design, I like to initiate step 2, which is using typography. Now, in this step, I first like to research my typefaces, and then I like to build typeface collections, and then examine the typefaces, and then customize the typeface if possible, but I don't think I'll be doing that on this one, and then finalize logo compositions. So here I spent a little bit of time going out and finding some appropriate typefaces that I thought would be good to work as part of this logo design.
So here I have a type collection of some typefaces that I researched that I thought might be a good choice to work with my logo design. Now, my logo design is based on it's like a geometric style of the shapes as we've seen. So whatever typeface I'm going for, I wanted to reflect that and have synergy with that. So it's not going to be overly complex. I'm going to be looking for maybe a sans serif typeface, one that is quite charming and has that simplicity that's not going to compete too much with the letter mark. But on this occasion, I still wanted to think about a variety at this early stage. So here I was thinking of some really contemporary sort of serif typefaces with nice angular serifs. And then I looked at maybe a slab serif. And then I looked at a range of sans serif typefaces here. And what I have here is a nice range of typefaces spread across 2 pages. When I undertake research for typefaces, I like to spend a bit of time and I like to try and get a nice variety initially. So I don't just rush into any initial typeface. I like to take some time to explore variety and really consider, what might be a good option for my logo design.
So then once I have my type collections printed out, this is a really good opportunity for me to really take a good look at the typefaces and look at the details of them and see which ones I think are the most appropriate and work the best as part of my design and fulfill those qualities that I wanted to embrace and wanted to get across.
So the typeface I decided to use was Ina. I really like this typeface. I feel as a sans serif typeface, it's really minimal, it's strong, it's a bit charming. It's got these really nice crossbars on the eye. I think it really sits well with the geometric style of my logo design. But also, it's a typeface that was actually designed as a corporate typeface for a design school, a university centre of design and art. So it's not just a font to be used. Ina embodies an educational concept as well. So this whole typeface was designed with education in mind for an educational platform. So I think it's quite fitting that I use a typeface for education, for an education platform for Riverside.
So this was a really good typeface that I liked and thought would be really good and appropriate and work really well, most importantly, as part of this logo design. So then once I've decided on a typeface, I then move into step 3, which is finalize logo compositions. So next I'm going to take my logo design and then bring it together with my new typeface and explore compositions, the lockups. So how is the typeface going to work?
So here you can see some of the workings I did initially to see how I would use the typographic element as part of the more visual lettermark logo. So as I just pointed out, I chose the Ina typeface, but before that, I do like to look at a variety of typefaces as well, just to see how they complement the logo. So here you can see how I explored a variety of potential lockups. First, I looked at how the word could be stated underneath, but I thought that might be a little bit small. So then I looked at how it could be stacked to the right and then also stacked to the left underneath, and maybe another stack with a different line break. And I looked at this in a variety of typefaces, and then I initially settled on the Ina typeface as I felt like this one complemented my design the most. And I settled on 2 key compositions here. So I'm going to go with a composition with the RTS lettermark visual with a stacked Riverside Training Spalding to the right, and I'm going to go with one where it's stacked underneath to the bottom left. Now these are initial ideas. I think it's good to leave them at this point. As I look later on and put the logo design in situ, again I'll reflect back on this and see if this is the right way to go about it. But in this initial stage, I liked the idea of using the typographic element in these compositions.
So those are the initial compositions that I like and I think work really well for this logo design. This is in a really good place now. So what I did here is I printed them off as well, and I put them up on my project wall just to get a good look at them off screen to see how they felt physically. And as you can see, they're here behind me as well. And I'd like to take a look at those and see if they're working in print as well. So once I've printed them off and I've got them and I can look at them, it's then time to do the next step, which is actually quite a big step for me, and that is to finalize color. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. So today I spent quite a bit of time converting my sketch design into vector artwork. I researched type to go with it, and then I created my final logo comp. So now I'm in a really good spot. I think I know exactly what I've got. I feel happy about it, and I'm getting excited now about presenting this to the client. But before that, I need to think about color. So now I'm going to really dive into that and go deep into that. And that is something I'm going to spend a bit of time on tomorrow. So if you stick around for the next video, you're going to see how I'm going to take this black and white logo and convert it into color and find some really solid colors that are going to work with it. I'm going to explore why I'm going to choose the colors and think about how I'm going to work the colors into a system that I'm going to present to the client, and hopefully they will like, and we can roll it out across their brand, and it'll be something that they're going to like. So if you like what I talked about in this video and you want to see this logo turn into color, stick around, watch the video tomorrow. Also, if you liked what you saw in this video and you want to learn more about the process I undertook to do this, I actually have a course on my other YouTube channel, GDS, where I have a massive course that breaks it all down, even shows you my design process checklist. So if you want to know more about this process, you can find a much more well laid out articulate course over on my GDS YouTube channel. Links in the description. If you're not subscribed to this channel, hit the like and subscribe. This channel is all about real projects, real experience, which I want to share with you. So if you want to see more videos like this, I'll be doing a ton of these in future. That's the goal of this channel, is to share real things. My other channel is all about tutorials and design theory, but this channel is all about my real design experience and projects like this that I want to share with you. So be sure to follow and subscribe for more of that, and stick around for tomorrow where I'm going to share about the color. So I'll see you in the next video.